I'm Dion Mazerolle, and welcome to this week's Edmonton Opera Happy Hour. Every week an artist from Edmonton Opera's upcoming season will share their favorite cocktail recipe and chat about next season. So, one of my favorite cocktails, especially when we get into the spring and summertime, is a gin and tonic for sure, with a bit of cucumber. But as one of my colleagues has already used that little cocktail, I thought I would do one of my go-tos, which is a vodka-soda, but with a twist. So I do have one of these contraptions at home called a soda stream, which is actually wonderful for carbonating any type of water. So you grab one of these bottles and fill it up to the line there. You put the bottle inside the machine to carbonate it and wait for it to pop a few things. It takes just a few seconds. When you hear that noise, there's enough carbonation in the water to use. Hear that little fizz? So then you would choose one of your favorite flavors. I have here cranberry raspberry, but my favorite is actually orange and mango. So orange and mango, you can actually kind of measure how much you would like to put of the sweetness that you want to put inside. So if you want more, you can use a little bit more or less. So you pour in your flavor. One thing that you really have to be careful when you do put the flavor inside, you can't really shake it. It'll actually bubble up way too much. So you want to kind of flip it a few times, very slowly, so that you don't lose all that carbonation that's in there. Really, really refreshing for the summertime. After you've done that a few times, you actually get some ice for your glass, for your cocktail glass. Get a nice chilled bottle of vodka. I don't have anything to measure, so I'm going to do a little bit of free pour. I did work as a bartender a number of years ago, so I know how much is too much. So after you've actually carbonated your water, added your vodka into your drink, you just add that little soda in there. You can see that little fizz going on. And you can actually top this off with some really great fruit. If you like some strawberries, some raspberries, or just a nice little wedge of lemon, you can definitely do that. It adds a little pop of color, and then adds a bit of freshness to your cocktail, and then you're good to go. Cheers. So, how's everyone doing with all of this coronavirus hubbub that's happening across Canada? I'm confined to my apartment with my husband and my dog, who you'll meet a little bit later, in Toronto. We've been confined now for going on about 2 months, trying to flatten the curve, as they say, which has been doing pretty well in this part of the country and a lot of part of the country. So that's really amazing that people are doing what they need to do. We all have to stand in this together and come out of it better people, hopefully. What I've been doing for helping with everyday kind of life is keeping busy with learning some music coming up, and hopefully contracts that will happen in the next number of months, but also doing some baking. I always loved cooking. I've always loved cooking since I was a kid, baking bread with my grandmother back in New Brunswick, or my godmother, and I started baking bread like a lot of people have been doing while they've been confined to their houses and to their apartments. A few really, really nice loaves of bread, and what I've been doing a little bit more as well is some baking. So some pecan pie cheesecake has been on the menu, which has been actually quite amazing. And we've been cooking a storm pretty much every day, which is really great. So that's been really kind of what's been keeping us busy, besides reading and having some really nice long walks as well. I'm originally from New Brunswick. I started listening to classical music on CBC when I was quite young, which is a little bit odd for someone from a small little town in New Brunswick. With my background of family members that were country singers, that were rock and roll guys. My mom had quite a large family, so her older brothers did bluegrass and country, and the younger brothers were more along the lines of Eagles and CCR, and so a lot of music in my family. But I got interested in music through obviously choral singing in the church, and started doing a bit of conducting as well. And when I went to University of Moncton in New Brunswick, did my first opera that year, and a small little role in Magic Flute. But my second year, actually, we actually did a production of Hansel and Gretel, so I was playing the father. That was quite the revelation. What I think brings me to opera, I think it's the personification of something that's other than you. So putting on a costume, putting on some makeup, putting on hair, playing someone that's younger, older, meaner, happier, funny. So it helps you kind of go through all these different facets of you might have or might not have in your own personal life. And I think that's what draws me to opera, is to that larger than life kind of a feeling to stage where you can bring people into this really interesting world where it's bigger than life, and also enveloped with amazing music that opera is. It is the complete art. It is the art that brings about dancing, singing, choral singing, the visual arts, lighting, orchestra, conductor, and it's such an amazing feeling to be part of that team when you're in a production of opera. So as I been doing this for a number of years across Canada, a bit in Europe and US as well, I think the one advice that I would give singers is to have a real understanding that a career is not necessarily what you envision it when you're in school. When you're in school, you are learning how to sing well. You're learning how to give yourself some tools to be able to produce sound. You learn the tricks of the trade in the sense of how to learn music, how to move around on stage. The great thing is to also watch other singers. My YAP program, my Young Artist program, after I finished University of Montreal, after my master's degree, I went to Université l'Opéra de Montréal, l'Atelier Lyrique, and then we saw amazing singers come on stage, and my personal first time on stage was a small little bit role in La Traviata, where I sang, I think, the smallest role in opera, which is La Cena è Pronta, which is the lackey that comes in during the scene, the card game, and tells everyone the dinner's ready, you've got to go. But the father, the person playing the father, Le Père Noël, that year was Cheryl Mills. Amazing singer, amazing career, and it was wonderful to watch him. So I would say to young singers, go watch singers and their art. Recordings are not just, they're a perfect kind of moment in time where you can edit a lot. But I find what's really, really interesting is watching those full-length videos of performing on stage live. That's what real life is. That's what people come to see us to do. Recordings are great, but they're a little bit more manufactured in the final product, which is outrageously, amazingly polished. But what happens on stage is live, and it's visceral, and that's what you have to get hooked on when you're in school. It's not just about the beautiful singing, but it's about everything else that encompasses it. So this will be my fourth production with Edmonton Opera. Very, very excited to be coming back to Edmonton. 2 seasons ago, I spoke about how it's fun to portray something that you're not. In our production of HMS Pinafore a few years ago, I was the character of Dick Deadeye, which was a lot of fun. A lot of fun to get into the inner workings of this really kind of fun character, which looked kind of gross and a bit of a curmudgeon, and told everyone off on stage all the time, but with a sense of humor. So I'm really excited to be coming back to spend some time in Edmonton. Hopefully, it will not be as cold as it has. I've seen it happen over the last number of seasons, but regardless of the cold, it's always a lot of fun to go to Edmonton, and the people are amazing. The team is always amazing in Edmonton. It's like going back to a family. Every time I leave, it's always very, very sad, and we always ask each other, so when are you coming back? So really, really happy to be coming back. So I'm really excited to be coming back to Edmonton to play Lord Rockford in Anne Boleyn by Donizetti. My character Rockford is actually the brother of Anne Boleyn, Anne Boleyn, who was the second wife of Henry VIII. So Henry VIII, King of England, Anne Boleyn was his second wife after he got rid of his first wife, of which he ended up actually being excommunicated from the church. So Henry VIII was the gentleman, the king that installed the new kind of religious kind of framework that we have now, where the king is the head of the Anglican Church. So actually, my character in real life was the person that brought him the news that he was being excommunicated from the Catholic Church. And funny enough, as I've been watching on Netflix, Medici, the Pope that actually excommunicated him was the one of the Medici popes, actually, which I found very interesting. As we were in confinement, a lot of movie watching, so this kind of came a little bit full circle of some history film TV series that I've been watching as well, linking it to Anne Boleyn. So I've never sung the part before. I've done quite a bit of Donizetti. I've sung L'Amore a number of times on stage, but also on tour across Canada, and in always a lot of fun to be singing bel canto music. So I'm really looking forward to that. Come on. Oh. So this is Nico. Everyone was wondering what I was doing also during coronavirus. Taking care of my little dog. One thing that we've had to actually figure out how to do is how to cut his hair while we're in confinement. He's been pretty good, but I'm learning still. Because these little guys, they grow a lot of hair. So this is my little Nico, my little bad boy, who's usually guarding our socks. Go say hi. Hi. Looking forward to seeing you in Edmonton. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you at Donizetti's Anne Boleyn next season. Tune in next week for another happy hour episode.